name is Kelly Sang, and we're going to talk about autoclaving and proper autoclave sterilization for surgical instruments. So basically, here at this clinic we have an M9, which is your basic heat and steam autoclaver. I know some facilities have the gas autoclave, we don't have that here. So basically, we're going to lift this lever, we're going to open this up, we're going to talk about a few features here. First thing you need to know is your water level indicator. Use distilled water only in an autoclave. If you use tap water, you're going to get buildup, you're going to get debris, you're going to get a lot of, well, debris is the right word, I suppose. And really, you're going to gum up your autoclave's inner workings, and it's not going to function properly. This autoclave gets cleaned a couple of times a month, so we don't do a whole lot of surgery here, but enough to warrant doing this at least twice a month. It cleans out your line, gets fresh water, and it also allows you to use your Speed Clean, which is the only product I recommend for cleaning your autoclaves for multiple reasons. It really gets any buildup or gunk or any slime that might get in there, mold, mildew, things like that. No good. If you have those, then you're not really sterilizing your instruments. Another part of the autoclave that always has to be checked is your seal. This rubber seal holds all of that steam and everything in. This lining right here gets worn out. There are replacement parts. I'm going to put that back in after I pulled that to show you. And this rubber O-ring here, it has a wire bar that expands and then pushes that and then makes that seal nice and tight here. That way that you don't get steam burned and things like that as the autoclave is running. Again, Speed Clean is a fabulous product that allows you to wipe the inside metal portions of your autoclave. It also cleans out all of your water portions, again, distilled water only. The autoclave settings for this autoclave specifically, we have an unwrapped setting, so basically if you're using an instrument, you need it to be cleaned, but not completely surgical sterile. You can use this setting. The setting runs about 270 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it reaches that point, it maintains that steam heat level for about 3 minutes. That 3-minute point comes through, you'll hear a pop, steam comes up, and it starts the cooling process from there. As far as pouches goes, this is a good example of a pouch. We're going to be autoclaving a pouch today. Pouches can be anything that are plastic or paper wrap. These things don't stay sterile for as long as, say, a fabric multi-wrap, but they are sterilized for short-term sterilization used for surgical procedures as well. When you hit your pouch setting, this again goes to about 270, but it holds that heat temperature and that steam temperature for a little longer, so for about 5 minutes before it releases that constant pressure steam and then allows the cooling process to start again. Each of these processes take a full cycle in this machine. You let your machine cool down before running the next cycle. Packs, again, would be something that are fabric wrapped. We use double layered drape wrap here to do our packs. That actually runs at about 250, but it stays at that 250 heat pressure and steam marking for 30 minutes, and then it does a countdown for cooling from there. The other feature you need to understand, we don't do a lot of liquids in here at all. We don't sterilize liquids. It's not a setting we use here, so I'm not going to discuss that option here. Hand pieces for dental, we do have to manually set the temperature. We run it at 270, but it's not a preset button here. I actually have to do an override for the system to do that. Typically our hand pieces here on our dental machine don't require removal and sterilization, but if we had to, I could. 3 different rack layers. As you can see, the layers have holes through them. Again, this is a heat and steam situation here, so you have to be able to have that airflow going all the way through the autoclave. That's part of the reason it has this circular dome feature. So first, what we're going to demonstrate today is, again, pouch settings. I have 2 pouches already prepped and ready for sterilization. They're both labeled. One thing you need to understand is that you aren't going to stack these like this. That's not a good position. Doing like this, as long as you have spacers, might be acceptable, but it's not standard of care. So we're going to go with 1 tray layer here. I'm skipping my middle tray here to allow more airflow and putting my second one on the top. Once these are in, I'm going to shut this door, ensuring that it is completely locked. This lever, if it is sticking up like this, you can see that door can still jiggle. That's not all the way shut. You need to make sure this is locked down in order to create that nice firm seal. From here, I'm going to choose my pouches. You're going to see my setting up here at 270. You'll see the 15 up here. That's actually the time it's going to take to reach that 270 degree Fahrenheit point, and then it's going to maintain. And then a countdown after that maintain will happen for cooling. During that time, you obviously don't want to open this autoclave. If there is an emergency, you do need to stop it emergently. There is a stop button. You always want to use that instead of directly unplugging. Otherwise, you can short circuit your machine. You're replacing breakers, and none of that is. Pouches. I see my 270 setting up here. I'm going to go ahead and push start. You can hear the machine. It indicates filling, which is part of that 15-minute timer we saw up here. As it starts to use its liquid from here going into the machine, we're not going to stay here for that full 15 minutes and watch it go to sterilization. You can watch the indicator light go through as it's going. Once it's complete, it's safe to open. I will warn you though, the metal inside this machine does stay hot for a while. So even though it's completed, if you can let it cool before you open this, I suggest it. If not, I would use a hot pad or something like that to pull your trays out first. That is starting and running the autoclave machine. You can see it starts pretty low at 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just slightly above room temperature of what we've got going on here. But that's why it has that countdown. So I think we are done here. Once this autoclave is done, we'll remove those and place them into surgery. Thank you.